This workout is a 5-minute AMRAP of 3-3, 6-6, 9-9, and so on of shoulder to overhead and box jump overs. Then at the 7-minute mark, we're going to do one squat clean on the minute, starting at 65% of your 1RM and building over the 7 minutes to 85%. This workout comes out in week 3 of our open prep cycle in TTT Compete. It is a short time domain couplet where we're trying to move as fast as possible in a 5-minute or less time domain into a lift under fatigue. If you have been doing CrossFit for a long time, you know how important it is to be able to lift heavy loads after a Metcon. So we're giving you a dose of both. Make sure that you're ready to rock and roll on both the shoulder overhead and box jump, but also focus in on quality lifts under fatigue at the end of this workout. Let's watch the demo. We have one of our semifinal on-site athletes, Allison, demoing this workout. It is week 3 and Friday. So first you're going to do some front squats and lunges, and then we're going to go into a short time domain workout that ends with some squat clean work. The turnover on the first part, this first 5-minute AMRAP, especially for those that are good at bounding, will be super fast. So this kind of simulates more of an open style workout. But I do think with loading like this, where it's 135-95, you could see something similar in a quarterfinal style workout, and just being efficient at both the shoulder overhead and box jump over, I think obviously pay dividends in a workout like this. Now you'll notice Allison is stepping down each of her box jumps. I think that's a really good call because of how fast the turnover is at the beginning of this workout, where when you get into, let's say, the round of 12, 15, 18, it would be really easy to blow up and then make both the shoulder overhead and box jumps incredibly slow if you're going too fast too soon. And you lose a little bit of time not bounding on the box jumps, but I think if you can keep the same pace throughout, you actually can gain some time in the 15s, 18s, 21s, as long as you're keeping those shoulder overhead fast. Allison's really strong. She's really good with the barbell. So I assume that she's going to keep these close to unbroken throughout, and then she'll probably keep that same pace. So in a workout like this, I would suggest kind of picking your poison. For me, I'm good at shoulder overhead, but box jump overs are like an absolute nightmare, especially with high volume. So I would think about maybe trying to push the pace a little bit on 3, 6, and 9 as far as stepping off quickly. And then I would take like a little bit slower step on, let's say, 12, 15, 18, and then try to do bigger sets on the shoulder to overhead. And you can see there, she already broke the shoulder overhead, but I think that's a really smart break. For anybody that's done box jumps and anything from the shoulder to overhead, split jerk, push press, you'll know how challenging it is on your quads going from the jump into the shoulder overhead, because it's a very similar movement. You're kind of shifting back to your heels or midfoot and then going to the ball of your foot, and the jump, obviously you're getting off the ground, but essentially you're pressing off the ground into the barbell when you do a shoulder overhead. So it's almost like doing 3, 3, 6, 6, 9, 9 of the same movement, except one's getting all the way overhead. Her transitions have been awesome, and in an open workout, I think this is one of the most important things that people kind of miss out on. They think that they need to have big unbroken sets on movements. You know, if it's a workout like this, or with chest to bars and toes to bars, like I gotta rest so that I can do a big set of 21 chest to bars or a big set of 21 shoulder overhead. But in reality, it's probably better to have faster transitions to and from the barbell or to and from the box, and then break up the sets to where you're keeping your rest times as minimal as possible. So the way that you can think about that is, if I to do 21 unbroken shoulder overhead had to rest 20 seconds, but I could do 11, rest 5 seconds, 10, then it makes more sense to do 11, rest 5 seconds, and 10, because now my rest time is 5 seconds as opposed to that 20 seconds needed to do an unbroken set. And the other thing is, you got to think about, how does a big unbroken set of a movement, especially with a barbell, impact the other movements in a workout? Now here, I think it's just going to be respiration rate and quad fatigue, but if you do a big unbroken set of shoulder overhead, now you're completely wrecked going into the box jumps. It's going to be really, really hard to keep a fast pace. And 5 minutes is much longer. As you can see, Allison had to take a longer break there than it seems. You know, you see that workout, most CrossFit workouts are, let's call it 8 to 14 minutes or 8 to 15 minutes. But 5 minutes at a fast turnover, it's almost like doing a 2K row, which we all know how challenging that is. All right, so she did a smaller set there. She's staying right over the barbell. I think this is another important thing. When you do break, stay on top of the movement. So if you're doing chest to bars, stay right underneath the pull-up bar, or if you're doing a barbell movement like Allison's doing here, stay right on top of it. It kind of forces you to get back to the barbell a little bit faster, which every second counts, every rep counts in the open and quarterfinals. Really good job to keep all of her sets at 2 sets or less on the shoulder overhead. She has 1 minute left in the workout. her box jump pace really hasn't changed. And this is what I meant at the beginning of the workout. If you're not great at bounding, but you can keep a steady pace by just like the same footwork where she's jumping on the box, stepping off, and then as soon as that second foot hits, she's jumping back onto the box. Yes, you're losing time to someone that's really good at bounding on and off the box, but you're keeping it close. You're kind of mitigating that loss, and hopefully you can take advantage of the shoulder overhead. So this style would be for someone that's just really bad at bounding and can't control their heart rate, or for someone that's really good at the shoulder overhead that knows that they can do them in 1 or 2 sets every single time, which Allison can do. So 20 seconds left, and you can see that transition was much faster than her last 2 transitions. And part of this is she's experienced. She knows exactly what she's doing, and she's watching the clock. So she's trying to get to the barbell and knowing that her shoulder overhead is going to kind of bail her out here. She can do as many reps or she'll do as many reps as she can in 20 seconds. And boom. I don't know what her exact time was or reps, but I'll make sure we put that down in the comments in WADA. All right, so the next part of this workout is going to be 7 minutes of doing squat cleans at certain percentages. So in the open or in quarterfinals, we've seen workouts like this over the last, 12 years in the open, where you'll do a workout and then there's a heavy clean or there's a heavy snatch or there's a snatch ladder. Now, we're setting it up in a training environment where you're getting exposure to heavy loads, but also in an attempt to make you feel more confident and comfortable with those heavy loads and not just telling you to go and perform a 1RM. So the way that we set this up is you have at 5-minute AMRAP, and then there's a 2-minute transition, and then at the 7-minute mark, you're going to do 1 squat clean on the minute starting at 65%, and then you'll build from there. So you go 65, 70, 75, 80, so on and so forth for those 7 minutes. And so Allison's obviously adding load each minute, and she's giving herself some exposure, some practice to lifting under fatigue. And I think that this is this is so much better than just going out there and let's say, okay, I'm going to do a hard workout and do my strength work after. Now, that can be beneficial at times, but getting like real world exposure to what's going to happen in the open or in quarterfinals and getting more than 1 attempt, like doing 7 attempts like this is really beneficial long-term for your confidence. And then obviously physiologically, you can improve doing it this way too. So this, I think, is her 4th lift or 5th lift. Obviously, we're skipping through the rest time. You'll have a minute in between these. And those all still look super strong. I don't know what her 1RM squat clean is. I'm going to guess it's like 235 or somewhere in there. Again, Allison's a really talented and really strong athlete, but these all look technically sound. That's probably the hardest one yet, obviously going heavier and heavier. Doing box jumps and shoulder overhead into squat cleans, keep in mind, quads are going to be blown up, maybe even hamstrings or calves. So pulling even your first one like it's a 1RM, I think, just makes sense. I know it's 65%, but treating it, that your setup, the mental focus that you need, just like you would if you were hitting a PR. So great job, Allison. We'll see you guys next week.